Welcome back. This is Owning the Huddle podcast. We got Breeze, we got DT, I am Deuce, and CeeLo is on his way. What's good, fellas?
Chilling, man.
Good, man.
Chilling,
It was
chilling.
good. Glad to see y'all boys, man.
Yeah,
Fact.
man. This is the season end episode. I think we had 9 episodes so far for last season. So kind of wrapping that up today, man. Anything like you could kind of go over from this past year, man, like with the podcast, any moments to kind of think about your experience. For me, man, it's been an honor working with you dudes, man. You know, these last 9 episodes. I mean, really officially, right? Because we was doing some stuff prior to that, but once we became official, kind of linked up, became an actual podcast, Owning the Huddle podcast, man. I just want to say thank you, appreciate you guys, man. I got some other thank yous to do later on in the show, so I don't want to get too too much into it now, man. But yeah, DT, man, how was the first season for you for Owning the Huddle?
Oh man, I think it was a lot of moments and a lot of learning from each other as like content creators and things like that. I think even though the season ended, it feels bittersweet. It's like it's still more to come. I can't wait for next year and to us not only grow as like content creator, but grow as men, learn more than just talk about football, talk about life, some of the things that goes on in the world. Dudes, you talked about the other day how about black entrepreneurship and historically black colleges and university. That's something that is dear to my heart as well, and I think those opportunities are forthcoming, and I can't wait to have those conversations.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Janet that's joined the chat. What is about you, man? We had this has been a good season, man. We learned a lot about Breeze, man. We learned about him being a celebrity, the many viral moments, and with DT that I mean to say, man, like we really appreciate your work in the community, man. Being a teacher, especially in the special needs field, man. Being a band and just being there for those kids, man. We really give big ups to you, man, and keep it up, man. Keep it up, keep it up. But Celebrity Breeze was good, man.
Man, what's
Man, we,
good,
we
man?
we we got a real celebrity story, but we can't say it right now. Breeze ain't ready for it. But it's gonna
Not
try,
yet.
yeah.
Not
Maybe
yet.
for season 2, we can tell you how that story. But what's good, Breeze?
Man, I had a ball this shit, man. You know what I mean? Once we finally locked in, and even before we locked in, as an official podcast, just kind of building with each other and doing certain stuff. But once we locked in as on the huddle, and filling each other out and kind of getting to know each other more throughout the process, man. It was dope. Everybody had their moments here and there, and it was a lot of fun. The season was fun, and I'm ready to run it back for
Yeah,
sure.
man, me too, man. Shout out to Breeze, man. Coach Breeze. Over there at Dunbar, man, right now he's in the process of training some kids for the combine, man. So, the stuff you doing in the community, man, how you there for those kids, we definitely appreciate that for you too. And CeeLo is not here, man. We know CeeLo be dropping names just like it ain't nothing, like celebrity names. Yeah, man, I was just with such and such, or this and such and such. Like, man, hold on, man, you just gonna drop a name like that and ain't,
And
you know
keep
what I'm saying?
pushing, man. Just
You just gonna
moonwalk
drop a
right over
name
that.
like that, man? Yeah, man. But like I said, man, it's been a pleasure rocking with y'all, man, for this season in the episode, man. And we gonna get it back cooking, man, in the next few weeks, man, to kind of officially start off season 2, because we started this season off kind of late and we kind of linked up. But I'm looking forward to kicking it back up with y'all. But today is like a crossover show. What we're doing today, we're gonna kind of close out some of our other shows from this season, introduce to you new shows, new hosts that RedzoneDC is kind of is introducing coming to this next season, man. We really touching some things, man. We doing more football, we doing more Commanders, and like in spaces, my man down there, Caleb, always say, man, look, man, we need some young people takes, man. So we got some young hosts that's gonna be chopping it up, talking about the Commanders and giving us their uh 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 Spurs, help me out,
Breakdown,
yeah, give
input,
it
and
there,
all that kind of stuff.
breakdowns and stuff like that. Yeah, y'all know I grew up, y'all tough with the stuttering a lot, and something I dealt with when I was young. So sometimes when I'm a little too excited, it begins to come back, and I begin to kind of stumble over words. And I can laugh. Remember my cousin Vinny? Like that's like my funniest scene ever. When when he was stuttering in the courtroom with my cousin Vinny. But yeah, I was bad. I used to like have to smack my leg to get words out. So yeah, man, that's something that. But
it's all good.
Anyhow,
we're here for you, bro.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna talk about that, man. We got some NFL talk. We have some draft talk coming back with Lady E and C Henry, and DT is gonna run that. Is gonna run that show, man. Y'all know how Henry and Lady E were dropping that knowledge on us, man. Talking that, especially when it comes to college, man, NFL, man. Oh man, I learned so much from them, man. But we gonna have them up. We also gonna get into some cinema. You know what I'm saying? Red Zone going to the cinema side. We're gonna be doing some movie reviews and reading some books, doing some book reviews. And they also got when we can try to talk about people and just everyday life stuff with a walk with Riri and friends, just chopping it up with people just about everyday life stuff. So I'm very excited to that. So we're gonna, after this commercial, we're gonna bring all of them back, and we're just gonna talk about the Super Bowl first. Talk about the Super Bowl a little bit, and then after that, we're gonna get into the shows and what they mean. So right after this commercial, we're gonna have everybody up.
Hi, I'm Christian Miles, native Washingtonian and real estate agent servicing the Washington metropolitan area. I started my career as an investor and later transitioned to the residential side. I really wanted to leave the investor side because I wanted to connect with people. Building relationships is important to me. I understand the buying and selling process can be challenging. I get it. I've been there. I'm a mom, wife, friend, and neighbor. I absolutely love helping families and connecting with people. Going through the home buying and selling process is stressful enough. When working with me, I make it fun. As a realtor, I think it's important to be able to connect with you. Every detail is important, no matter how small. Let me take care of the heavy lifting while you focus on the joys of finding a new home. Something I live by, people may not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. With me, it's an experience.
Welcome back to Enters the Lab Live Show with Lady E, Mayo, Slim, C. Henry, and Deuce.
We ain't hear that joint in a long time, man. What is good? Let's see. Everybody in the box. Yeah, everybody up in the box, man. This is RedzoneDC Media Team, man. We got I think 5 podcasts that we're coming back strong with this new year coming up, man. And we only missing one person, CeeLo, but he's sure gonna join. But yeah, man, before we get started, we just put this together just in case you can kind of see some of the logos, some of the draft logos we've been working on in the background. Then after that, man, we're gonna chop it up, meet everybody, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit.
This is Hog Farmer Chris from the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation. And before you start listening to Red Zone in the Lab, check out our Amazon Smile, a simple way to support the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation every time you shop, and it's no cost to you.
Welcome to a brand new season of the Red Zone in the Lab podcast, where nothing is off the table. We will be discussing entrepreneurship, education, Black history, health, movies, family, and of course, sports. So do yourself a favor, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, you can always visit us at RedzoneIntheLab.com.
is good? What is good? Lady E, C. Henry, DT, Enter the Lab podcast. What is good with y'all on this great night? 9:26. Most of our bedtimes. I ain't gonna say no names, but what's good, man? How you been, Lady E?
I have been good. You know, I gotta represent from the back to back champion.
Henry. You starting
Y'all
already.
already know
You
Hey,
what
starting
man.
already, Henry.
it is.
Hey, man, it's all good, man. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? I'm happy to be here, man. I'm really, really eager to see, man, all of the pods coming together, man. I'm a movie fan too, so I'm eager to tap into the cinematic, you know what I'm saying, podcast. And I'm gonna tell everybody out there, if you're a single man, years ago I tapped into a nice book club years ago. So if you're a single man, y'all tap into that book club. You'll learn a lot of things about these young ladies, man. They be talking in them clubs, so definitely tap in. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the Enter the Lab, I'm really excited about the show, man.
Appreciate
Yes,
that. What's up
yes.
with you,
Miss
E?
you, Henry.
What's going on, Lady E?
How was y'all experience on the first few seasons of Enters the Lab? I know we only had maybe like 8 seasons toward the beginning of the year, but what was y'all experience for that?
Oh, I loved it. It was, again, like I said, to be able to sit over here and legitimately talk about, like, you know, the things I love, especially college football, because it was an interesting college football season this year. So to be able to go through that, give you know, out the takes and kind of, you know, throw my little knowledge in there, you know how we do. But yeah, you know, again, it was good, fun time. Like I said, chopping it up with C. Henry, you know, going back and forth, because, you know, our teams were struggling this year. You know, Henry team, you know, came up, we had our little moments with the Falcons. Like I said, Dirty Bird Nation, that's how we do it, you know. But hey, it is what it is. I'm ready for this new year. I'm ready for this season, because your girl is moving back to the East Coast, being back in Georgia, being closer and different things like that. So we in there. We in there.
What about
You know,
you,
man,
Henry?
I always like to chop it up, man, and talk, you know what I'm saying, talk ball, man, whether it's about my Wolverines, my Lions, or just, you know, the whole college or NFL landscape in totality. So for me, it's always good to get different, you know, perspectives from folks out of DC, from folks out of Dallas, from folks out of Atlanta, and kind of see what their thinking is on what's going on and get a different perspective on things. So it was always informative. It was always fun. We kept it loose. You know what I'm saying? You know me, I like to keep it somewhat humorous. You know, we got heated at times, and, and sometimes, you got to let your friends know, man. Wentz, I know y'all believe, man, but, in September, I kind of told you, what I'm saying, on the objective, field, Wentz ain't that guy. And you got to let your friends know, man. And then sometimes they got to bump their head, and, we come back here.
Hey.
It's like Michigan bumped their head against TCU. We going to be back, though, this year, baby.
Hey,
going to see
come on, man.
Hey, let's go. We ready over here. We ready.
Oh, and don't forget the fantasy advice. Hey,
yes.
don't forget the fantasy football advice. I take pride in that. I won a couple ships last year, and I hope I helped some folks win some ships as well. So, yeah, we're going to have that aspect covered as well.
Yeah, real talk. Hey, look, so let's talk about the Red Zone Cinema, right? Let's talk about that, because I can earn the food coming in from wifey, and you know what I'm saying, you gonna have to leave in a couple seconds, but everyone knows as Commander Lorian Aaron, man, and no more. Everyone knows no more. And what we're going to be doing with this podcast is we're going to be reviewing movies, right, and books. Different movies that we kind of talk about and agree on. Let's watch this movie. Let's talk about it. And also books, like some short books. I ain't reading no long books, because y'all know I don't like to read. But you know what I'm saying? But and I think one of the first books is the Kobe Bryant book that we're going to do, the one that he did. And I have it too. What's the name of that book? We was talking about it. But
I have to look.
Yeah, I forgot. But that's the first book we're going to do. So we're going to be putting that out. Put a link out if you all want to purchase the book and kind of read it along with us. But no more when it comes to like movies and book reviews and stuff like that. What are you looking to get out of this podcast?
I want to just share a mutual love for cinema and books. I actually probably don't read as much as I should be reading either. So it's another way to get back into it. And I think short stories, graphic novels is a kind of a good way to do it because it's kind of easing into it, and I know we're all kind of busy in our lives. So not having to read like a full novel every time for a show. Keep it simple with either like a book of short stories, tackle those, or just shorter novels themselves. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. No more be dropping these books and movies. I'm like, man, I'm not reading that because it'll be like I'm not reading that. I'm not watching that movie. But it's something to really kind of like put me in a place where like out of my comfort zone for different types of movies and books that I run and read. So I'm really excited about that. What about you, Ern?
I mean,
What are you
yeah,
looking
I
for?
kind of agree with No More here. Like, and I think too, it gives us, like, I know a lot of us like the MCU stuff like that, so it gives us kind of a opportunity to just kind of talk about some of the stuff that we enjoy. And like No More, I'd like to get back into the reading, so just kind of like you said, having the short stories and stuff like that to be able to read to kind of ease back into it, it's going to be kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. But yeah, Ern, I know you gotta. I know you gotta drop. That's cool. Of course, we're gonna meet up and we're gonna. Can't wait to get started, man. I can't wait to get started. Can't wait. I really don't want to read this, to be honest, but this is something I've been trying to do. So I'm looking forward to getting back into it. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead let you go, Ern.
Okay.
I'm gonna get CeeLo in here, but
All right,
appreciate you,
that'll
man.
work. All right, I'll hit you guys up in the chat.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, man. So in the chats, people be saying we too old, our takes are old. We always thinking about, we look at the team in an old man, and we need some youth in the chat. We need youth in the spaces. The youth don't have a voice, and this, and that. So all right, let's see what we can do. So we got Caleb, we got Kadar in the building. Caleb, this is pretty much you, man. Like you pretty much gave me the idea to kind of do this, man. I've been, hearing you complain about us being so old. We need younger takes for the last 3 months now. So for you, Caleb, what is this podcast going to do for you and what you say to youth?
I think it provides just a different perspective. There's different generations of this fan base. You got the OG fans like from the 80s and the 90s, and then you got the fans that been with the team since, like, I guess when we started liking them when the RG3 came around, or even some around my age who remember the team a little bit when they had, Jason Campbell, Chris Cooley, Santana Moss. You got some of those fans in the middle a little bit. And, we all got different opinions and different takes. Some hot takes, but, I just want to hear, I think it's good to get somebody's different perspective from a different generation, just how we feel amongst the fan base. And we feel sometimes it's too different. It goes two different ways. But I think it's interesting. I think it can be entertaining, but also something that provides facts, and we actually analyze what we're talking about instead of just saying stuff, off the fly, but still respect each other's opinions at the same time.
Yeah, man. Kadar kind of joined, we kind of it felt like a real negotiation, like we was actually dealing with like money. I was like, come on, Kadar. He's, well, man, I ain't got time, so you ain't got to do that. So we kept going back and forth, and we finally end up coming to an agreement. But Kadar right now is coaching. He's coaching. Go ahead, tell us about your team, and they seem to be like moving and being successful. Just tell us about them real quick.
Yeah, man, appreciate the opportunity. It'd be real busy with a lot going on. I teach, I coach. I coach 2 teams. I coach middle school ball. The season actually just ended, and I also coach varsity basketball at my old high school. So season's still going on there. So just back and forth between, my normal job as a teacher and then also, coaching at 2 different schools. It could be very, time consuming. So, definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge to do this podcast, but, it's a good opportunity to chop it up with Caleb. The way we are going to approach it is going to be let him cook. We got a lot of spicy takes, a lot of good stuff to talk about. And just like the perspective that Caleb mentioned, like, I feel like it's a good opportunity to see everything in a different lens. So definitely excited about it.
Yeah, man. And Kadar is a Wizards fan, and Caleb continue to say the Wizards are trash. So that's gonna be that's gonna be fun to talk about too. Yes, we're gonna talk a little bit of it. They're gonna talk a little bit about the Wizards, and of course.
You never know. I might just convert Caleb back to a Wizards fan.
No, I don't know about that, partner. I don't know about that, partner.
Hey, if John Wall, never say never. If John Wall come back to DC, Caleb might come back too.
We'll see. We'll see.
Quick shout out to Miss Janet. Appreciate you for stopping by. Carson, our guy, stopped by. Gang, Telly is the house command this podcast. Steve, appreciate you for coming through, man. And okay, look who's in the building coming from the movie. CeeLo has arrived. What's good, CeeLo?
What up? What up?
What's happening?
Turn your phone sideways, CeeLo. So the last show is a show that's basically going to be about like some everyday real life stuff, just talking about certain things that goes on and people lives, just having on guests just to kind of talk about certain situations, just to kind of bring stuff home, because we know outside of sports is actually real life, and that's where Riri comes in. A walk with Riri and friends is something that she wanted to do, just to have simple conversations. So where do you expect, or where do you anticipate this podcast going, Riri?
I'm really not sure. I've talked to a couple people and they're kind of excited about it, just telling, football brought us together, but we all, have a journey every day, and it's, it's all different. We all have different walks of lives too. So it's just kind of bring everybody together so they can talk about, their daily struggles with whatever they're going through. Like I said, besides sports, we have a life, kids, wives, ex-wives, military, kids with autism. So I'm really excited because there's, like so much to talk about. So, I'm just really looking forward to it. I think for me, it's just going to be like, even just getting to know, people's, daily routines, daily life. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, man. So yeah, man. So that's it, man. I just want to thank our new hosts, Riri, Caleb, Kadar, No More, Aaron. I just appreciate you guys, coming aboard and willing to do this. Thank DT for kind of taking over Enters the Lab live show with C. Henry and Lady E. I can't wait for that, because like the way we want to try to do it this year is try to make it like a debate type show, and like CeeLo mediating, and I can't wait to see C. Henry and Lady E talk about Georgia and Ohio State, and that's what like the NFL. I mean Michigan. No, I did that because the crazy thing.
This don't matter. Hey, listen, I just got red on today, man. I just got red on, man.
You got the wrong red, my guy. Hey, this is the red you should be wearing.
That red look
but see, DT is OSU. That's why I got it mixed up. So we got OSU, Michigan, and Georgia are gonna be on the stage together.
Don't forget College Park.
We gonna debate everybody. Don't be trying to put me and Lady E against each other, man. We got to camaraderie here. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget UMD.
DT.
You say who? Don't forget who?
Don't forget UMD, University of Maryland.
Who?
Let's not do that. Hey, we took down number 3 tonight.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna say this, and this is all I'm going to say. If your team ain't the back-to-back champions, I don't want to hear that.
2022. This is a new year. This is a new year. This is a new year.
Hey, look, we kicked the field. We're winning field. Well, actually, let's take this back. Ohio State missed the field goal. Okay. at the stroke of midnight. So they took an L in the new year. So we got this new year.
Y'all quarterback was Deuce age. That don't count.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Craig,
What does that mean? Wait a minute. I catch a straight.
No. Straight shots fired.
You're not-
Straight
you're not-
shots
you're not-
fired.
you're not college age.
Your
is what I'm
quarterback been in
saying.
college
That-
since
that's
Caleb
what
left high
I'm
school.
What I'm
saying.
saying is you're
And
not
that's
in
why
college.
you can hate. You can hate all day long because at the end of the day, who is the national champions?
Oh, man.
Okay,
Yo,
My bad,
DT.
dude.
we're good.
My bad,
We're
dude.
good.
My bad.
DT is crazy how Georgia beat Ohio State when both of their number one receivers were hurt. Crazy. So, Marvin Harrison wasn't playing. Maybe if they would have had him.
Trying to get them started in here.
Caleb, it's crazy that if you put both of our ages together, you know, that's about the same age as the Georgia quarterback.
But this the thing about it. Where was Maryland?
It's the Quavius Bennett.
Look, yes, the
Hey,
Quavius
is
Bennett with
he
the
out of
flag,
jail?
but where
Is he
was
out of jail
Maryland?
yet?
It's crazy, man.
Oh
I just want to find out where
Is he
was
out of
Maryland
jail
at
yet?
because I could have sworn Maryland had an opportunity, but where was Maryland at? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Y'all a bigger program than us. You know, we won our bowl game.
The
You know,
bigger
y'all
program.
went ahead. Y'all went ahead and y'all took care of business.
Program.
Y'all went ahead and took care of business. We a basketball school, so
of course.
Yep. We gonna
Y'all a
win
who?
A basketball school?
Y'all a who?
let's not do that. Let's not do
Y'all
that.
a what?
Yeah, y'all keep playing with Maryland basketball. Bro.
Just keep sleeping on us, man.
Keep
Keep
playing
sleeping on
with
us.
them.
Kevin
was a
Willard
long
building
time
something
ago.
special.
Look, it's Big Ten rivalry in here. Big Ten in here.
Kevin Willard building something special. Keep sleeping on Maryland, man. Go Terps.
Yeah, Steve is in the
They
chat.
coming.
Number
I
3
don't know when they
Purdue
gonna
went
ride,
down
but they
tonight.
coming.
The
Appreciate
checkerboard.
Steve.
The checkerboard is
Redskins
coming.
Weekly. And Slim was in the building. What's up, what's the word, my good people? What's up, Slim?
What up?
Appreciate you for stopping by. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that, man. And for that show, C. Henry and Lady E and C. Henry is going to pretty much be kind of doing the scripts and kind of leading that show on the topics weekly. Some of my input, some of DT input. But I'm looking forward to that. But I know for that show, we're gonna kind of start off with a lot of college players, like a lot of profiles from college players, the top players before the draft. That's gonna be very exciting, and that's why I thought DT would really benefit that show better than I can, because he's much more dialed in into those guys coming from college. So you know, you have to know what you're good at, and you have to make decisions based on what's going to be best for the show. That's why I'm stepping out of that show, and I asked DT to kind of lead that show, mediate, because he's more dialed in into that college part. So DT, I do thank you and appreciate you, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, CeeLo. So you was at the movies. What did you watch, CeeLo?
Ant-Man.
Okay.
What?
Hey, CeeLo?
Up there.
Use them connections, huh, CeeLo?
Yep.
Whatever, man. They got that new theater called what's that shit? Up in DC. And you know, it's local, you know, I'm trying to support the local folks, you know what I'm saying?
Well, hopefully when that drain on Florida Avenue.
Nah,
okay.
it's nah.
You don't go to that
we ain't going to Florida Avenue. I'm not going that local.
You want to support local, do you?
It's called Alamo Draft House.
You talking about over there by me? You talking about by me?
That's where you at? Okay. Yeah, that's
right
where I
corner.
was. It's dope.
Yeah.
They stick, you know, you can order food and stuff, you know, it's cool.
All right, man. So yeah, see, we're gonna give you an opportunity. Me, DT, and Breeze, you know, just gave like a last minute take on the show. You know what it did for you this past year, if you enjoyed it, and what you look forward to do to next year.
That's for me.
Yeah, for owning the Huddle.
Yeah. It was man, it was great, man. You know, I don't know about y'all, but for me, that was my first you know, podcast experience. And it was amazing, man. Working with DT and Deuce and Breeze. They some real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like Breeze a celebrity.
See, told y'all.
I mean, we were just trying to keep up on his schedule. You know what I mean? Nah, it was cool though, man. It was. We actually prepared for it and everything, and we had some good debates. We weren't always agreeing with stuff, so I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
And so
man. It
next year,
was.
man, we're gonna be bigger and better next year, right? I mean, we're gonna do some things. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, man. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Yeah, and Breeze, man. I mean, one time he put us off because he had an interview with Channel 7. I mean, what was that news
Right,
station?
It was
right.
USA
I was
Today.
like, wait a minute.
USA
Yeah.
Today. USA
He
Today.
probably
USA
got
Today? My goodness. I was like,
he
all
probably
right.
got B-Rob Google number now. You know what I'm saying?
Google number is crazy.
Wait, hold on. Let me take a little quick timeout. Who is this command? Who just said the best thing that came from Georgia was Jake Farm? Who said that?
That's Steve from Commanders Podcast. I got this running bit, man. I told Jake Frank
Blaming
our practice
Frank.
squad.
the audacity. Oh my God.
Oh man. All right. So before we go, let's just chop it up a little bit about this Super Bowl. So let's start off with the penalty, right? Let's go straight to the holding penalty. And yes, see Henry, I'm coming straight to you. Holding penalty. Should it have been called? What's your take on it?
Man, that's a very interesting question, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm very torn on it. To be honest with you, was it a penalty? Yes. He grabbed him twice. Yes. Should it have been called? In that moment, you like to say no because they've kind of let him play the whole game. But again, the double grab, I mean, you almost got to call it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really, if you look at it, if you're a Kansas City fan, you have money on Kansas City, it's like, oh, it's no brainer. You got to call it. If you're a Philadelphia fan, you're like, oh, you let them play. But to me, at that moment, tic-tac he called, but had to be made. Had to be made.
That's that hoodie is dope too. I like that. I ain't even really noticed it at first.
I'm saying that's a lot coming from you because you're a very stylish brother, man. I see your little Rick Ross, your little Rick Ross
see it?
on your
Okay.
cover
So look,
there, dog.
So look,
I think my man a celebrity. You look like a celebrity on there, man. Thanks, man.
Look, I'm about to tell you.
Hey, he just had the concert series at Capital One Arena with Ja Rule. Come on now.
This is what's funny, right? Look. This is what's funny, right?
Maybach music.
So anytime we go like out the country, we go to like Jamaica or the Caribbeans. One time we went to Cabo, and we just walking like it's a group of us, my family. We just walking. I got like my beard is out. It's bigger than this. I got my shades on. Man, they was like, Rose. They was screaming, Rose. And we in Cabo. So I was like, man, Rick Ross here.
Well, you know that.
He was like,
look,
look,
they was talking about.
Look, the dude. Not at first. The dude was like, man, why you acting like that? Don't act like that, man. I was like, and my man was like, hey, young, they think you Rick Ross. I was like, I feel like that. So the whole time, that whole vacation, every time we go down to the beach area, somebody be screaming out Rose. So I just did it. We went to Jamaica every time. They always screaming out Rose. So I just.
Hey, next thing you know, somebody at the resort bar, man. Next thing you know, somebody at the resort bar, and then, you right next to them. They talking about, oh yeah, let me get a couple bottles of that Casa. Let me get a couple bottles of that Henny. Let me get a couple bottles of that 1942. And yeah, put it on Rick Ross tab. That's on Rose's tab.
Yeah, they're gonna be short because ain't nothing coming to me but clean pina coladas.
Freebies or something from that, man? Any
nah,
perks from that from being the Ross lookalike?
Nah, man, I ain't going that far, man. It's funny just lifting my hand up with my glasses, walking a little different. It's funny.
Be careful
man.
in third world countries, man. They may try to kidnap you, man, thinking they got Ross, man.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I ain't messing with them, yeah.
Be threatening to take your kidney or your liver or something if they don't come up with the ransom.
Ricky Ross,
might need to do an exchange for the fake Rick Ross.
No more. What you think about the penalty? No more.
There's two. I had two thoughts in the moment. I was like cheering because I'm not rooting for the Eagles. So, but if I throw all that out, the side I lean on is consistency in officiating, and to me, up until that point, they were doing a good job of kind of letting them go out there and play and have a little more contact, right? They didn't want to make the official or an official determine, the outcome. So all things unbiased, if I threw out who the teams were, I would say they should have let that one go. But I'm glad they didn't, because the Eagles ended up losing because of it. So I guess that's the answer.
All right. Kadar, where you at with it, Kadar?
I mean, after that after that Commander Giants game, yeah, it's a penalty, So I'm not mad at it, especially because it's the Eagles. But I mean, if we really being honest here, my bias aside, that's one of the ones they could have let go, but they decided to call it. It's a 50-50 call. Sometimes they're going to call it 50-50 calls. Sometimes they're not. I don't think it was a ridiculous call like, a few years back in the NFC Championship between the Rams and the Saints. Like, I don't think it was like, 100% obvious, like one-sided. But, I think it was 50-50, and they went and it, ended up hurting the Eagles in the end. So, I mean, I say, yeah, it's a penalty because that's what they went with.
Turn your phone sideways, Ree. Lady E, what about you? What do you think about him?
I mean, hey, I was just there for Rihanna. And at the end of the day, like I said, I agree. I agree with C. Henry. Looking back at it, he did grab him twice, unfortunately. I feel like it was just the bad timing. You know what I mean? Again, they let him play, but again, as a player, you got to understand and know where you're at when it comes down to clock. You got to be careful at that, you don't know how they're looking at it. You don't know how they're going to try to play it. Sometimes we have seen in the regular season, they let stuff go. Sometimes we have seen when they have called it at the end. So again, do I think that it should have been called? Yeah. Let's be fair here. Like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. Let's be fair. But, couldn't they have let it go? Yeah.
I'm really shocked that he snitched on himself, though. I would have just sat that one out, James Bradbury.
But like I said, again, you have to, as a player, you have to understand what's going on. If you know for a fact that you're running a drill play like that, you got to be careful of how you approach it. Yes, you want to play aggressive, but you got to understand and know how to play aggressive. And
it was better for him to let him score than to get a penalty right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't even know if he catches that ball. To be honest,
but that's why I said it was a 50-50 ball in the beginning. That's why I said you have to know and have that awareness of what's going on, because I agree, the ball probably wasn't going to be caught.
Yeah,
but you just caused the penalty to put them closer to the goal end zone, and bam, there you go. You know what I mean? So it's either or. Like I said, Kadar was right. It's 50-50. You just never know. But as a player, you need to know your awareness and where you're at, what's going on.
Yeah. CeeLo, did the all 22 come out yet? Have you seen it? I didn't look.
I haven't.
I'm very curious to see that sky view of that play.
Out now. It's
been a week. So. What about you, CeeLo? Since we right here, what you think about it?
I think it was a good call. So that game at the moment they were already in field goal. Yeah. So I just believe that it was kind of a shootout, at that point. So I just feel like referees got to call what they see field. The one thing about replay that sucks, and I've always felt like this way. I feel like in replay, they should only replay the point in regular speed. You feel me? Because referees don't have the advantage or the privilege to watch things in slow motion happening. So when they make a call like that, all of us, we can go back and see, oh yeah, that was a grab. But he saw a grab in regular speed, and I just feel like that's something you see as a ref, you call. Unless we don't believe the ref, we think the ref is advantage or compromised. I think that it was a good call, but for all of us, we see it all day, every day, slow mo. Of course, it was a grab, but I think in regular speed, he saw a grab. It affected the receiver long enough to where he had to change his ability to make a play. that's a good call.
DT, where you at with it? Now, just to let you know, just to let you know, hold on, just to let you know, Henry and Lady E, when you ask DT something, he's gonna take at least 8 seconds to reply. So don't his screen is not stuck, it's not froze, but you know, DT is a teacher and he just processes everything in his head and it takes like 8 seconds. So
you know what they call that, DT? Wait time. Wait time.
So we got to start another.
Also, because I'm doing an IEP. So,
oh, see, look, flex. You see what I'm saying?
So look, like, man. Okay, look, it was a penalty that should have been called in the game. There was a lot of stuff they didn't call. Mm-hmm. They just happened to call the one at a critical moment. But you know, things happen like that. I mean, he was holding him a couple of times while I was watching like individual matchups and things like that. It sucks. I mean, you just have to play better. I mean, you've been in the NFL for that long. You know you can't hold them by the hip like that longer, especially beyond 5 yards. And that wasn't the play that actually killed them that lost the Super Bowl. You were up by 10 points at halftime, and you didn't go for the kill shot. You let Pat
as a Falcon fan, I know
too long in the game, and she took advantage.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
How you going? How you gonna dunk that? How you okay? So you want to dunk it, and you don't want nobody else to dunk it.
Because it's my team, I can dunk it. Don't nobody else say nothing. Like I said, at least we not the only one.
We have forgot about it. We ain't even, you know what I'm saying? They look bad right now. We don't even know there's a couple years away from the Super Bowl. We have forgot all about
my question is, how long did it take for you to be able to laugh about it? Like, you know, when was it like too soon, and then you know it just died down for you?
I'll be honest with you. It took it 2017 when we went back to the playoffs. I thought we had an opportunity at that point, and then when we got knocked out by the Eagles and they won, I think at that point that's when I just said, you know what, bump it. Well, I'm just gonna laugh about it because we ain't going back for a minute. So yeah, that's at that point. So it took a whole season to laugh about it. You know, everybody had the little jokey jokes and different things and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like I said, same thing with like you said, it wasn't just a critical moment. It was a simple fact that my team stopped running the ball. We were killing the Patriots with running the ball, and we decided we wanted to throw it. Just the same thing with the Eagles. They decided to go a different route and trying to do. I feel like they try to do too much at the end, and that's what cost you right there. You can name a couple of players that do it, but I think it's the straight up the mentality. If you know something is working, don't step away from it. I learned my lesson.
I think they panicked when Mahomes came back out and scored on the opening drive. I think they panicked.
No, well, I mean, the thing is, anybody that saw Mahomes in the situation with that ankle injury, they thought he was done, but they shot him up with the shot.
They gave him some horse tranquilizer. Now he out that joint jumping on buses.
They gave him lion
climbing
DNA.
up climbing up double-decker buses and doing all that crazy stuff.
Exactly.
What about you, Riri? What was the vibe like where you were when they threw that penalty? You muted me. Riri, you muted, Riri. You still talk. Riri, you muted.
Ray, you muted.
It's just like it's face.
Riri, you're muted, Riri. Oh, there she go.
She'll
come back. It probably was the audio. Yeah, it probably was the audio. What about you, Breeze, man? I mean, wide receiver coach. I mean, you know what I'm saying? How you feel about that?
Okay, first things first, if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles defense gave up 24 points in the second half. The Eagles got outplayed in the second half. They went into halftime with a lead against a quarterback who could barely walk, came out and gave up 24 points and lost the game. Number one. As far as James Bradbury goes, James Bradbury, NFL players, period, but in that moment, James Bradbury gets paid to be one of the best people on the planet at his job. Right. Mm-hmm. In that moment, you have to be that. You can't afford to try to grab somebody. You can touch them, but you can't afford to grab and tug somebody. Number three, we don't know from watching at home how much what looked like a slight grab or tug may have actually redirected that route. We don't know. Mm-hmm. So me personally, as a former player, as a current coach, I'm in the mindset of in critical moments and crucial moments like that, that's when I want the referees to call everything down the line for both sides. Because what I don't want is for what could have been a penalty to affect the outcome of the game as well.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And the Eagles, I know it gave the Eagles basically an opportunity to run the clock out. I mean, the Chiefs the opportunity to run the clock out and lose the game, but the game was tied at that moment. The Eagles let them get into the red. That penalty happened at the 18, 17-yard line. The Eagles let them get to that point of the field to where they were in that range. If that same play happens 40 yards away, it's a different conversation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way I see it is he grabbed them by rule. It's a penalty, and that in that moment you got to throw the flag because him grabbing him could have possibly prevented the touchdown. So you have to call it. In my eyes, I mean, I know a lot of people see it differently, but me personally, I feel like in that moment, if you see what you think is a penalty, you gotta throw the flag.
Fair across the board. I think that's kind of where we look at that. Is that with the NFL officials is that sometimes we get upset that they pick and choose what they want to call, and then when it happens, like in this instance, when we're saying at a critical moment, that's when we have an issue with it. But I'm just like, well, hold on, they didn't call that holding that could have sent that play 5-10 yards back.
Think about it like this. On the same play, if Bradbury doesn't grab him, but Juju Smith-Schuster pushes him away from him and scores a touchdown, Eagles fans are losing their mind that they don't throw that flag right there. It's no longer you can't call that right there. Now it's why they throw that flag. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situational thing. I understand that it didn't benefit them, but in that moment he made a mistake.
Yep.
And
we got called for it. You got normally you can get away. You can get away with stuff like that sometimes.
At
this point in time,
a question. I got a question. Should it have been just a holding instead of like a 5-yard penalty, or should it have been a on-spot call?
No, I think
fine,
holding was the right call. Yeah, holding was the right call. Holding was the right call
because it wasn't legal contact because he actually held him. So
can I slightly interject with a contrarian objective view here?
Of course.
I feel everything y'all saying, and like I
said,
this
for E? Is this directly to E? DT, get ready. DT.
No. This really talking DT. To some of y'all Burgundy fans who hating on the.
See what I'm saying?
I feel a lot of ego hating here. As a guy who had a lot of money, I don't love him, but I had a lot of money on that game, so I got to bring a contrarian approach. So here's the thing. Like I said, I feel like the penalty definitely should have been called. But with that being said, this game was kind of officiated very, very loosely. When Jalen had the fumble, what was not called was the face mask by Nick Bolton.
Yeah,
clearly grabbed his face mask. That wasn't called. You can't tell me that there was no type of holding going on with Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham and some of these pass rushers during the game. Same thing going on with Frank Clark and Chris Jones during this game. So we have a game that's kind of loosely being officiated here. And then all of a sudden, in the biggest moment, this call is made. So I do have a little bit of pushback, but it was so obvious. It was just like, okay, cool.
Okay.
The ref, after the first one, he didn't want to throw, but the second grab, it was like, okay.
Was it holding by the old line? Was it holding by that grass and that turf?
Yeah. No, it was holding by that old line.
But
it was all up in here. It was.
I do agree. I do agree that the game was loosely officiated, but still, the same way that you can't put a game in the referee's hands in a positive aspect, you can't put it in the hands of the negative aspect. You can't be like, well, they ain't called enough in all game. I can grab them now because you never know when they might reach for that flag.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I don't believe that was the play that really ultimately caused.
No. The Eagles made mistakes.
Now they may have got a chance to get the ball back and do something, but
and to see those point, referees in that moment, they're seeing everything in real time. So like we talk about, like I coach high school football, and referees miss calls all the time because the game is too fast for them. So imagine in the NFL, most of them dudes, I mean, that game is flying around. You got to really
That's
be
why they got to come in and talk. That's why they got to come in and talk about it. Like if it was a clear cut and they can see, you could throw the call and call it for right then and there. No, they got to come and convene and talk about it to see that everybody see what you saw. So you got to think about it. If one person didn't see this, let's even take it back. Remember the call with the replacement refs? Is a touchdown, no touchdown? That's basically what it is. I didn't see that. I didn't say, well, I saw that. Well, I saw that. Well, okay, we're going to call it. That's pretty much how they do.
So Caleb, like for me, you know, anytime the Eagles fans, you know, the bad guy always talking about blah blah blah. I say, well, y'all let that dude scramble for 30 yards on one leg. Like, let's talk about that first. You know what I mean? But as far as the penalty, what's your thoughts on a penalty, and is it really a big deal about the officiating throughout the game and then ending up with that penalty?
I mean, not for me. Like when they called it, it's a hold, bro. Like, and I'm calling that every time. I don't care when it is, where it is. If you're holding, you're holding. No matter if it's 1 second left or 15 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna call it every time. I don't care if it's the week 1 preseason Super Bowl. If it's a hold, it's a hold. I don't like. Me personally, I'm doing that every time. It got so bad that they zoomed in and I saw on Twitter a guy was circling like, look, he's grabbing his jersey, literally grabbing it. It's right there, and we know how that feels. I think somebody mentioned the Giants game. That's blatant, and they didn't call it. Like he's grabbing him. He's literally
Giants game.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? How that hurt be hanging on.
Yeah. No, hold on.
It's holding.
Hold on. You gotta let me finish, Henry. Come on, dog. Like, nah, but for real, like if it's a hole, bro, it's a hole. And like you can't be upset about that, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you know, you be a little, and you look back at it at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure fans would be like, see, they should have called it. You know? So you got to look at it from both ways. And I understand, you know, from an Eagles fan perspective, it's like, damn, man, that sucks. And some people, they're so emotionally into the game and into their team. It's like, they don't care what nobody else says. Like that, like we lost. Like, and I understand, but if you're holding, bro, you're holding. Man.
Appreciate CJ is in the building. CJ says definitely a hope for me, man. Like, I wish it didn't come down to that, because I believe that Jalen would have walked down the field. Like the way he did that previous drive, I think he would have did that. And for me not to be able to see that and witness something like that, is, you know, I'm kind of like, oh man. But I do understand, you know, the foul call. You know what I'm saying? They called it. It was holding, blatant. But I do want to see the all 20s. I want to see the camera view, because now the Eagles fans saying that Mahomes was pointing to the ref to throw the flag, and he threw the flag. I'm like, come on, man, y'all reaching, man. Y'all reaching that. But
I mean,
yeah,
you
man.
know what? It's not far-fetched though, because the bottom line is this: he sees what's going on. He knew where he was going with the ball. And if he see his guy getting held, hey,
he gonna throw it up there.
Yeah. Brady does that, but wait a minute, hold on. Brady does that all the time. But
he does. He does.
Every quarterback
does that. I think it's just, you know, we get caught up with the you know, the biggest quarterbacks in the league, because, you know, the camera's going to be on them more often than, you know, some of these quarterbacks that aren't as big as them, you know, and playing in a game like the Super Bowl. So,
And even Deuce, I'm glad that you mentioned that about the replay and see Mahomes was pointing. Actually, today I saw the NFL films on YouTube. 40-minute video. Y'all should watch it. It's hella entertaining to hear what Jalen Hurts was saying, what Mahomes was saying. Man, those guys are leaders. And when you got Frank Clark talking and Chris Jones talking, say, look, we need one stop. Like it gets your adrenaline at an all-time high just looking at that. And it's like, damn, man, I feel like I'm in the game. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
put me in, coach. Put me in.
You got AJ Brown when he made that. You got AJ Brown when he made that slant. He caught it, and then he caught up and then he juked the same guy that he beat, and he went up and got some extra yards. And you got Hurts saying, yeah, that's my dog right there. You see him? Yeah, and Mahomes is saying, look, one more drive. We down by 10. Let's get it. You know,
that dude, man, that dude,
yeah,
that dude's different.
But when Mahomes did point, I'm not gonna lie to you, Deuce. When he got hit, but as soon as he got up, he pointed. I'm telling you, he pointed. I won't lie to you, he did point. But at the end of the video, I'm pretty sure you guys saw it on Twitter too. The Kelsey brothers, that was a very emotional thing, but it was a heartwarming thing too.
And his mother, he's not coming back. Like on that same clip, when the dude was like, "Yeah, see you again next year," he was like, he said something like in effect that, I don't think he coming out. What's up, dog? Ty, he's in the building. Glenn is in the building. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, man. But I don't think he's coming back, man.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so.
But the last thing, let's talk about Mahomes. Let's see who's gonna start. Let's start with no more. Is Mahomes top 3 or is Mahomes top 5?
Are we talking about currently in the league or all time?
Currently in the league, he's on the he's by himself. So
yeah, I was gonna say currently, of course. But, it's a tough question.
Hold on. Go ahead, think about it because it's not fair. I can't straight think about it. But let me ask this should be quick. Is Jalen Hurts that guy now? Like last year, we had questions about him throwing the football. Are there any questions about Jalen Hurts now? For me, it's no.
I feel like I feel like the right system found him.
All right.
I feel like he's proven everything that he's needed to prove. I mean, as far as being a starting quarterback, I think for him it's just consistency and just being able to stay healthy. Can he do this again? Can he produce at a similar clip to what he's done this year? I think that's the biggest question.
All right, Henry.
Jalen is that guy, man. He's a top 5 guy right now. I want to see what he does next year to see kind of the consistency level, but he can fall off from this type of year and still be a very, very valuable player. And to me, he has nothing more to prove. He's been a high-level player pretty much everywhere he went. He ran into Tua at Alabama. Hey, those things happen. Went to Oklahoma, had a great, season there. Had a solid season for Philadelphia in their opening his first year. And then they got him some weapons now, and he's able to perform at a high level. So there's no questions about Jalen. He's one of those guys.
DT?
Yeah, I think when you watch that game, you see the full maturation of Jalen Hurts and all the things he went through college.
I don't even know what that means.
And it's crazy how we talk about.
Go ahead, DC. Go ahead.
It's crazy how we talk about like how stacked the team is, and his team is really stacked. But the simple fact that they couldn't run the ball, he literally led them in rushing and passing, like 374 total yards and 4 touchdowns. He put the team on his back against arguably the best player in the world. And I've been having this debate and stuff like that. Look, I understand like he's not one of the best passers, but this year he was a top 5 quarterback. And when he's not in the game, his team's lost because he had an impact in the game that Gardner Minshew did not bring. And I think I got a lot of respect for him this year, man. That was one of the questions I had for him on my podcast, and he shattered that.
Yeah. Caleb?
Hurts. I think Hurts proved himself. Even after last year, when they got destroyed by the Bucs, I'm like, I was happy they got, beat up in that playoff game. Of course I was happy, but realistically, I'm like, dude, if this kid just becomes a decent thrower of the football, he doesn't need to be an elite thrower of the football. If he at least becomes decent at it, he can be a pretty good quarterback. And he proved that this year, man. Like he's a strong kid. He put the ball where it needed to be. Yeah, his team had a lot of help on that team, but he did what he had to do. Somebody still got to make the throws. Somebody still got to rush for those quarterback sneaks. That's so crazy and you can't stop it. But
did y'all see the report that they're going to?
Yeah, they're going to ban it. They're abandoning it.
Yeah, that push from the O-line on quarterback sneaks and short yardage. They're thinking about bringing that up at the owners' meeting.
That's another discussion, but like you can really get players hurt like that if you really think about it. But
definitely get players hurt like that.
Yeah, you get back to somebody's neck. But yeah, Hurts to me, Hurts is. It's gonna be controversial, but
say it. He a problem.
To me, Hurts is top 10, top 5. I don't think so. That's just me. I don't think he's top 5.
It might be too early, right?
I've seen people do it consistently.
Too early for who?
For me, for Hurts. And the reason why I say that, C. Henry, is because like I've seen other quarterbacks do it consistently, and they've had less talent.
Here go CJ. Y'all about to go at it.
They had.
It
I've
never
seen quarterbacks
fails.
do it. I've seen quarterbacks do it with less talent and more. What's the word for it? More.
CJ going on you. He going on you, Kate.
Hey, I'm about to speak for CJ. You see, I'm over here stirring. I'm over here stirring. The pot is being stirred.
No, but on a serious note, though, they about to have a first place schedule, so we really are going to see what the Eagles do.
Yeah, but to finish my point, it's like I've seen quarterbacks do it consistently, and they have to go through more adversity, in my opinion.
Now we talking. Now you said top. Just some clarity, real here. I just want to get some clarity here. Now I'm sorry, for Caleb. This top 10 you mentioned. That's for currently, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure it's gonna be probably one or two quarterbacks on your list who ain't did what Jalen has done as of yet. But I ain't gonna ask you for your list today. We'll wait.
We got another crossover, BT.
I'm learning, Caleb. I'm learning how that
we got another crossover, BT.
Adversaries out here.
We got a crossover, DC. Yeah, like you got a crossover coming.
Sound like it's my mind is telling me it's a Herbert on his list in front of Jalen or something. It might be a Herbert on his list. I don't like that.
Breeze. Where you at Breeze? Because that's gonna take 15 minutes right there. Just that nugget.
I don't want to say that Jalen Hurts proved it to me or earned my respect, because he had my respect from college when he was at Alabama. I don't know where I rank him at currently as far as top 5, top 3, top 10, whatever. But the Philadelphia Eagles most definitely have a franchise quarterback, a long-term franchise quarterback. And as a Commanders fan, personally, I wish them nothing but the worst moving forward. The absolute worst from a football standpoint.
Yeah, football.
But yeah, man. Dude had an incredible season, man. I can't nobody take that away. They went 16-1. Can't nobody take that away from him, man. He whatever spot you give him, wherever you rank him at, he most definitely earned it. I know people gonna try to have knocks on him because of the people around him and the talent around him and all that kind of stuff, but Jalen Hurts is most definitely a dog, and I hate that he ended up in Philadelphia, but it is what it is.
I'm surprised more teams don't take a page from the Eagles book. The Ravens, the Chicago Bears, build around your quarterback like the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts, with the offensive line play and, getting him weapons.
I think a lot of teams just be unsure of what their quarterbacks are and don't want to put all their eggs in that. Like, they don't want to build up, put all their eggs in that basket. And if that young quarterback don't work, then they gotta kind of retool or go find a veteran that they can't afford. So like that. They definitely weird with it. Like, I hope that my team, our team, most of our team, takes a page from that book and tries to build around the young dude while they can afford to. You know what I mean? And then hopefully working out on the back end as far as the quarterback contract. But yeah, I agree though.
Hey, chill, bro. Still wilding in the comments.
I think Breeze is
in the comments, yo.
Still wilding in the comments.
Breeze just made a great point. A lot of these GMs, and I think what separates the great ones from the mediocre ones, are the ones who do know exactly what they're getting when they draft these guys. They have a vision of what it's going to look like at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And they're able to put those pieces around those quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, and make those guys successful. Like if you drafting a guy like this upcoming draft, let's get into it early. We talking about guys like CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. We kind of think we know, you know what I'm saying, what those guys are a little bit. But you talk about AR-14. I'm sorry. That's my guy. AR-15, who we don't know what he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? He might jam like an old 38 out here. We don't know what's gonna happen with him. And Will Levis, those teams, you know what I'm saying? Those teams who draft them may not know exactly what they're getting and may not be able to surround them with the necessary support and cash. So,
all right, that's true. We can take that. We're gonna end up another 36 minutes. So look. Mahomes, I ain't mess with you, Henry. Mahomes. See, here goes CJ. See what I'm saying? See, he trying to get us in this joint See what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
Listen, I got a pod in that too, man. Listen, man. I got a pod tonight too. We can wrap it up, man.
See what I'm saying? Look. Hurts better than Lamar. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Look, boo. All right, let's wrap it. Yes or no? Mahomes, come back to no more. Is Mahomes top 3 or is he top 5? I don't need a list. Is he top 3 or top 5?
All time, I would say, shoot, man, it depends. It's tough because of all the different metrics you would say. I would say top 5. Yeah, I would say he could move up to top 3 within another season or two for me all time.
All right, Breeze, top 3 or top 5?
I agree for right now. Top 5. What the hell? I agree for right now. Top 5 for sure. And yeah, definitely has the ability to put himself into there. CJ, man.
Dude, wow.
CJ
number 6. Oh God.
Yeah,
Riri, what you
now.
think? What you think, Riri? Mahomes top 5, top 3?
Right now, top 5.
Yeah. Henry, where you at? Top 3, top 5?
He is, yeah. He's right there knocking on the door, man. I'll give him maybe 5. He's knocking on the door.
All right, Kadar, top 3, top 5.
He stands alone at the top if we're talking about quarterbacks right now. But for me, the longevity of his career versus some of these quarterbacks that have played before him, I feel like it'd be unfair for me to say right now he's top 5. But I can't be mad that people are saying that. He's right there, though. You know, I feel like if he plays a couple more seasons at the level that he's playing at, he's certainly top 5. You could be flirting with top 3 for sure, too.
Caleb,
he top 3.
Yeah,
and the reason why I say that is, well, you want me to explain it or no? Or you just want me to
I do. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Caleb. He is the most accomplished player at his age right now throughout his career. You look at all the quarterbacks that we talk about, Manning, Brady, what they did in the to get the 2 Super Bowls. Mahomes did that in less than 5 years. It took Peyton Manning 18 years to get 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. It took Mahomes 5. It took Brady, I think 8 years. It took Mahomes 5.
It didn't take him 8 years.
Yeah, to get 2 Super. Oh, you're right. No, 2 Super Bowls.
No, it did.
2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. I think it's a stat. It's a stat I saw. Yeah. So he accomplished it so quickly. You know how many records he's broken since he's been in the league all time?
CJ, wow. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, he's a different breed for sure. I can't be mad at it.
But
wow.
I wouldn't be upset if somebody got pushed back on it. You know, it's cool. But me, you know me, dudes. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down, man. Look, he top 3. He top 3.
You know, it's crazy.
If he retired today,
Joy Taylor made an interesting
first ballot
point.
Hall of Famer, no question.
Yeah, I agree with that too. You know, Joy Taylor made an interesting point. She has John Elway above Patrick Mahomes, and her reason for that was because, I mean, if you are going to project what Patrick Mahomes will be by the end of his career, then yeah, I mean, you could say that he'd be, you know, some people might think he's the greatest quarterback of all time if you project his career. But she mentioned how she believes it's unfair for us to project what a quarterback is going to do versus what somebody has already done. And an example she gave was John Elway. She said John Elway was in 5 Super Bowls and he's played for, over 15 seasons. We don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to play that long, So some of the points that some of these people are making for other quarterbacks being ahead of Patrick Mahomes at this time, I feel like makes sense. However, you could also argue that Patrick Mahomes is top 5 by, elaborating on, what he's done at this point in his career. So
I think Mahomes' unique skill set definitely helps the case to move him up the list quicker than we might for other quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, yeah, I side with longevity for now because, the NFL is such a league-to-league season. There could be circumstances that he never wins another Super Bowl, not due to his own fault, but just the team around him. GMs screw things up. The same types of things that happen to other really good players. That's no fault of their own. So, yes, I think if I had to yes, I think he's going to be that top 3 by the end of his career, but you can't be 100% just because we don't know in a league that's as punishing as the NFL. You can't even predict a season ahead accurately sometimes. So that's why.
DT, what you think, DT? Where you at with it?
Man, just listening and things like that, I think a lot of great points were being made. I have to say this, man. Like I said the other day, top 3, but then I also think about context, like we always use in the space. Like we dog Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning was the number 1 pick, and he went to a bad Indianapolis team, and he made them good. And I think for Mahomes, like that context is different because he was already on a good playoff ready team. They just needed to be elevated by his play. Manning elevated the whole team by his play because he was the number 1 pick, and rightfully so. And there was a lot of questions about Patrick Mahomes when he came out, and he exceeded those expectations too. I think maybe the next 2 years, I think those 2 Super Bowl losses, they kind of sting a little. Well, he only has 1 loss in Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, one.
What, losing in that AFC Championship game? I think those 2 things are sting. Now, if he gets 1 more ring and another Super Bowl MVP and MVP, I think we can gather up the conversation. But right now, I'll say top 5.
All right, E, end us off, E.
Give me about two more years, 3 more years, and we can have that conversation. I feel like right now Mahomes can't be topped. Like currently, there's nobody that's gonna come close right now to what he has accomplished in a short amount of time. But I do feel that to say like when having that all time talk. Let me give him about 2 to 3 more years to see what he can do. Like, and see if he can keep that same consistency up because we've seen that he has and can be consistent. Yes, those 2 losses does sting, but in the same token, I mean, he can inch himself up, and then we can say top 3 on Caleb's side once he does that in 2 to 3 years. We can see something that comes out in these next 2 to 3 years that like, okay, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Then yeah, we can sit over there and have that conversation. About that, and then we can put him up there, Caleb, in the top 3. And then I think he will surpass top 5 and be top 3 because again, that man is a freak. I mean, like I said, even though he got shot up in the halftime, but to be on a broken
Yeah, that
leg
was
like
crazy.
that, and we know how high ankle springs are, and to come out there and run 30 yards on on the defense like that, yeah, Patty got hit up with the shotty.
Appreciate Trail for stopping by, man. Hey, look, this has been good. I try to keep it under 40, 45, but like I always do, I go over like 20 minutes. All of you is aware of that. But I just want to thank all of you again, man. Thank all of you for joining the team, man. Owning the Huddle podcast, DT, CeeLo, Breeze, appreciate y'all. Enters the Lab podcast, Lady E, C. Henry, DT, Red Zone Cinema, which I can't wait. That's gonna be fun. No More and Earn. The young boys, Caleb and Kadada, team from DC podcast. Appreciate y'all. And a walk with Riri and friends. That's going to be interesting too. With Riri. Thank all of you. And I am Deuce from RedzoneIntheLab podcast. We appreciate all of you for stopping by. If y'all want to stay on, just stay on right after this panel. I say panel. Like when people say panel in spaces, I'm like, it's just it's not a panel, like let's stop calling it a panel. But anyhow, I appreciate all of you out there for listening. I thank you all for watching. Appreciate y'all giving us some of your time. We know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
This is Hog Farmer Chris from the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation. And before you start listening to Red Zone in the Lab, check out our Amazon Smile, a simple way to support the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation every time you shop, and it's no cost to you.
We're back! back. Welcome back to Red Zone.
Thank you for listening to Red Zone in the Lab podcast. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab. And you can download our podcast at Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. And please visit our website at RedzoneIntheLab.com. Thank you.